Previously on World History and Geography.
Our early human ancestors spread throughout Afro-Eurasia, and with the Neolithic Revolution, eventually settled down and developed civilizations. While civilizations developed in Africa, Asia, and Europe, they also emerged in the Americas.
And now, our feature presentation.
No one knows for sure when the first Americans arrived. Most experts believe the earliest Americans traveled by foot across the land bridge known as Beringia during the last ice age. The last ice age lowered sea levels and created a land corridor between Asia and Alaska, across what is now the Bering Strait. Herds of wild animals from Siberia, including the mammoth, migrated across the plains of the land bridge. Gradually, Siberian hunters followed these animals into North America. They most likely were unaware that they were entering a new continent. These migrants became the first Americans.
Hola! I'm Dora the Cowgirl!
Sorry, Dora, the first Americans didn't speak Spanish or English. That is a nice pony, though. Some scholars contend that the migration across the land bridge began as early as 40,000 BCE. Others argue it occurred as late as 10,000 BCE. Some scholars think early Americans also may have paddled from Asia or Europe to the Americas by island hopping in small boats. Human settlement in the Americas is relatively recent compared to that in other parts of the world. However, it followed a similar pattern. At first, the ancient people of the Americas survived mainly by hunting and gathering.
There you are. Oh my, I don't think you want to be gathered, you want to be eaten.
Okay, maybe I'm not the greatest hunter.
Or gatherer.
Yes, or gatherer.
Zed, those are the only two jobs that we have here.
Over time, they developed farming methods that ensured a more reliable supply of food.
We're farmers.
Wow, he's a farmer. I'm a herdsman.
This, in turn, led to the growth of the first civilizations in the Americas. Around 7000 BCE, a revolution quietly began in what is now central Mexico. There, people began to rely more on edible wild plants, raising some of them from seeds. By 5000 BCE, many had begun to grow these preferred plants. They included squashes, gourds, beans, avocados, and chilies. By 3400 BCE, these early farmers grew maize, or corn.
Maize.
Maize soon became the most important crop. This highly nourishing crop flourished in the tropical climate of Mexico, then spread throughout the Americas. In the Americas, as in other regions of the world, agriculture brought great and lasting change to people's way of life. The cultivation of corn and other crops provided a more reliable and expanding food supply. This encouraged population growth and the establishment of large, settled communities. As the population grew and as farming became more efficient and productive, more people turned their attention to non-agricultural pursuits. They developed specialized skills in arts and crafts, construction trades, and other fields. Differences between social classes, between rich and poor, ruler and subject, began to emerge. With the development of agriculture, society became more complex. The stage was set for the rise of more advanced civilizations. The story of developed civilizations in the Americas begins in a region called Mesoamerica. This area stretches south from central Mexico to northern Honduras. It was here, more than 3,000 years ago, that the first complex society in the Americas arose, the Olmec. This mother culture arose around 1200 BCE, and not much is left of their pyramids, plazas, and monumental sculptures, like these big old Olmec heads. The Olmec also developed ceremonial centers, ritual ball games, no, not football, a game where they tried to hit a ball into a hoop with their hips. They also appear to have directed prosperous trade routes throughout Mesoamerica. For reasons that are not fully understood, Olmec civilization eventually collapsed over 2,000 years ago. By the time the Olmec civilization had collapsed, another people, the Zapotec, had developed an advanced society in a mountain valley to the southwest. Around 500 BCE, Zapotec civilization took a major leap forward. High atop a mountain at the center of the Oaxaca Valley, the Zapotec built the first real urban center in the Americas, Mount Alban, which reached a peak population of almost 25,000 people. They also developed early forms of hieroglyphic writing and a calendar system. For more than 1,000 years, the Zapotec controlled the Oaxaca Valley and surrounding region, but sometime after 600 CE, the Zapotec began to decline. Like with the Olmec, the fall of the Zapotec remains a puzzle. These cultures would influence the future civilizations of Mesoamerica, but we'll get to that later. While civilizations were emerging in Mesoamerica, advanced societies were independently developing in South America. The early cultures of South America arose in a difficult environment, the rugged terrain of the Andes Mountains. The Andes Mountains stretch about 4,500 miles down the western edge of South America, from Colombia in the north to Chile in the south. After the Himalayas in southern Asia, the Andes is the next highest mountain range in the world. The The Andes has a number of peaks over 20,000 feet in elevation. South America's first civilizations emerged in the northern Andes region in modern-day Peru. The first influential civilization in South America, known as the Chavin, arose in the mountains and flourished from around 900 BCE to 200 BCE. The Chavin were believed to be a primarily religious civilization and established worship centers. Chavin art styles and religious images, as seen in stone carving, pottery, and textiles, influenced other cultures. Around the time the Chavin culture declined, other civilizations were emerging in Peru. First, the Nazca and then the Moche built societies that flourished in the Andes. The Nazca culture flourished along the southern coast of Peru from around 200 BCE to 600 CE. This area is extremely dry. The Nazca developed extensive irrigation systems, including underground canals, that allowed them to farm the land. They're even more famous, however, for an extraordinary but puzzling set of creations known as the Nazca lines. More than 1,000 drawings of animals, plants, humans, and geometric shapes. Most of them are so large that they can be recognized only from the air. Some believe they were created as maps to locate underground water. Others think they were used for religious rituals, or possibly they were created to please the mountain gods. Who knows, but they are pretty cool. Or hot, since they were created in a dry, hot desert. Meanwhile, on the northern coast of Peru, the Moche culture, which lasted from about 100 to 700 CE,
Moche.
developed extensive irrigation systems for farming from the rivers flowing from the Andes. Moche tombs uncovered in recent past have revealed a civilization with enormous wealth: gold, silver, textiles, and intricate ceramics. Although the Moche never developed a written language, images on their ceramic pottery provides a wealth of detail about Moche life. Nevertheless, many questions about the Moche remain. Like many early cultures of the Americas, the end of the Moche and the Nazca remains something of a mystery awaiting further archaeological discoveries. The early civilizations of the Americas would influence those that followed, but the Americas would remain a patchwork of separate civilizations until the early 16th century.